Well, we've a lot to look forward to, and joining me today to analyse proceedings are Kevin Doyle, Stephanie Roach and Didi Hamann. And before we focus in on our match this afternoon, Kevin, we have to talk about the story breaking from the Argentina camp, where there appears to be major unrest, most of it directed towards the manager. They're not happy with him, and there are even rumours that Messi and Mascherano will pick the team for the game against Nigeria.
Yeah, you know, we don't know the ins and outs of it. We obviously see their performances weren't good. They're not happy. The manager looks out of his depth in the two games. He looks like he's under serious pressure. Yeah. And the players, from what we hear, are taking it into their own hands and want to pick the team and get him out. It's, you know, I've not seen it before. I don't think any of us have experienced this or seen a team in the World Cup go through this sort of upheaval, but they can't do any worse than in the first two games if they do oust them and pick the teams themselves. Yeah,
I mean, Stephanie, when you look at some of the footage of the manager on the sideline, now I know you can't read an awful lot into that, but at times he did look like he was a little bit out of control and actually was really at a loss as to what to do to try and change things for Argentina, which was the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think he just looks a little bit out of his depth, as Kevin said, and he's quite erratic on the sideline, which I think as a player, when you're playing matches as well and you see your manager going on like that, it transfers onto the pitch quite a lot, so that's kind of probably the biggest thing. And obviously if they're saying the players are going to pick the team, and Kevin has mentioned, I think it's not going to be much of a difference. They need a big performance against Nigeria if they're going to get anything, so it's a big game ahead of them.
Yeah, and it's a terrible situation for them to find themselves in, and we could already see that Messi was under pressure. And Didi, it's a bad sign when we know that a number of players are saying they want the manager out. We believe the Argentine FA now have indicated that this guy will probably be sacked after the World Cup, but it can't be a happy camp.
No, certainly not. And the biggest thing is always, you know, managers got different ways of doing things. But the key ingredient for success on the pitch is respect for the manager and also respect from the manager towards his players. Somewhere along the line, there must have been a breakdown in communication that the respect for the manager is not there anymore. Desperate times, desperate measures. Nobody expected that heavy defeat against Croatia. They still got a chance now with the other result, the way things went. But they need to play a lot better than they did in the first two games. And I just feel you've got nothing to lose in a way, because if the players haven't got the respect for the manager no more for whatever reason, you know, sometimes maybe you have to take that decision. Yeah. And get rid of him now and maybe put somebody in charge. We've seen the Spanish situation, which didn't seem to affect them too much, because if they carry on with this guy, even if they do get out of the group, whoever they play in the first knockout game, I think you worry about them. Yeah,
Steph, you would have think that there must have been some sort of unsettling things happening within the squad even before the World Cup, but for it to happen during the tournament, you'd think it could have been sorted out beforehand, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's not ideal, obviously. I think going into a major tournament, and I think some of these players, we spoke about Messi, his greatness, and it's probably going to be his last World Cup, so I mean, he's going to want to perform, and I think he's always going to be the main player who gets picked that he's not performing, but it's the whole team that haven't helped him out, and for the manager to be in that situation and the whole team and the country to be in that situation in a World Cup, it's not ideal, so we'll see what happens if they get rid of him now. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, he took responsibility after the 3-0 defeat to Croatia. But Didi, you were saying that the Germany squad ended up in a difficult situation at the 2000 Euros.
Yeah, we had a similar situation when we drew the first game. We knew that there were problems with the management. We drew the first game against Romania 1 each, and then we had a discussion within ourselves whether we should make the call. But obviously you need backing. You need backing of the people who run the federation, and if they are not behind it, then you can't do it. In the end, it didn't materialise. We got knocked out in the group stages, and I think that's sometimes the thing or the thinking in an FA or even in a team. Once you get to a World Cup, the event is so big, things will sort themselves out because everybody's pulling in the same direction, but it doesn't always happen that way. And I think this is why in Argentina now I think things came to a boil, and we shouldn't forget that they needed to win the last game in Ecuador, you know, so the qualifying for the World Cup wasn't plain sailing. No. So they needed to win the last game in Ecuador, where they conceded an early goal. But it doesn't make good reading. So if you're an Argentina fan, whatever the decision will be, I think you worry about them now.
Yeah, and of course they have to win that game against Nigeria. We know that, and I think by 2 goals or more.